Alright guys, so welcome back to day 5 of 31 Days of Halloween. Today's look is on this Little Red Riding Hood who got attacked by the big bad wolf. So I used really simple things to achieve it. It wasn't very hard at all. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so to start off, I'm going to take a white pencil liner and I'm going to map out where I want the claw scratches. So I kind of just use my own fingers as a reference. So you want the middle scratch to be the longest and then the 2 scratches on the side of it to be a little bit shorter. So I just sketched those out so I knew where I was going to make the scars and made sure I liked the way they were looking. And I really just made these kind of curvy and they weren't precise at all. And I think they looked the nicest that way. They're most realistic. So next, going back in with my trusty old washable glue stick. This is an Elmers non-toxic washable glue stick. And all I'm doing is taking some of the glue, taking it on, I actually have it on the lid of a container, and I'm just squishing it down till it becomes like a paste consistency and it's easily spreadable. So then I followed the guideline lines on my face and I spread the glue over top of it. And you want it to be quite thick and raised so that you can tell that the flesh has been like ripped open. I know, lovely picture for you, isn't it? So you're just gonna build up the glue following your claw marks. And then after you have the glue built up and the claw mark completed, you're going to wet, I was just using like a spatula palette knife, so you're going to wet it and you're going to blend the edges of the glue in with your face. It looks more realistic and similar, like the skin that's coming up is attached to your actual skin. So just a little bit of water. You can also use your finger. I was just using the palette knife because I felt that it kept the lines pretty clean. And so I just smoothed over top of it, and then like I said, I smoothed the edges into my skin. And then I repeated it for the other 2 claw marks. I know I drew out a 4th claw mark, but I decided against it. I thought these ones just looked good as it was. So again, after I finish putting the glue down, I'm going to wet my palette knife and I'm just going to smooth out the edges and blend it into my skin. So you can tell when the glue starts to dry because it kind of becomes like a flesh tone color because it's clear. And this is totally safe for your face. It comes off with warm water. I don't suggest peeling it off because I tried to do that and really irritated my skin. So take your time and use warm water and it'll just come off. So next I am going to move on to my eyes while the glue is drying. So I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer as my eyeshadow primer. And then of course we are going to set it with some translucent powder. Next, taking my Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette, I'm taking the peachy shade and I'm going to be using this in my crease. We're going for like a very light eye because I feel like Little Red Riding Hood is very youthful. But you can really change up the eye to a dark smoky eye. You can do whatever you'd like. So next, going in with a medium toned brown shade, I'm going to just apply this in the actual crease. And then next, taking my Shade and Light Shimmer eye palette, I'm going to take the shimmery peach shade and pack this all over the lid. This just gives a really wide eye open effect. Okay, so next taking a lighter champagne shade, and I'm just going to apply this in the middle of my lid using my finger, and this again makes the eye more round and open. So then I'm going to apply some false lashes. I'm using Velour lashes in Dreamgirl, and then we're going to move on to foundation. So I used quite a full coverage foundation for this, and it was a little bit paler than my actual skin, meaning it was essentially the same color as me. I just don't like to admit I'm that pale. But anyways, I used a full coverage matte foundation so that we could cover the glue easily. And you guys have seen me do this 150 times. So put foundation on your face, and then like I said, just put it over top of the glue. It'll sit pretty well. You might have to do a couple layers, and you don't have to worry so much about inside of the scars because we'll be filling those with glue or with blood and stuff. But just make sure that the skin that's acting as the ripped open skin is the same color as your face. So again, taking my Tarte Shape Tape, I'm going to apply this under my eyes and to the high points of my face as per usual. So the bridge of my nose, the middle of my forehead, the middle of my chin, and then I applied some around my nose because that's where I get the most redness. So of course blending this out with my beauty blender. And then whatever I had left over on the sponge, I just went over the scar for a little bit of extra full coverage. So taking my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, I'm just going to apply this over my face and even over the scar, just so that it's also matte. And taking my Too Faced Sweetheart Bronzer, I'm just going to bronze up my face. You guys have also seen me do this a million times. So next, taking my Too Faced Love Flush palette, I'm going to be taking the rosy shade in there. And like I said, I feel like Little Red Riding Hood is very youthful, so I put quite a bit of blush on. And then taking the matte peachy shade again and just going under my lash line. And then taking the medium tone matte brown shade and just going along the outer half of my eye. Next, taking the NYX Wonder Pencil in the skin tone shade and putting this on my waterline because that'll help open up your eyes as well. And then taking my Makeup Forever Flash palette in the rosy shade, we're going to apply this around the gash marks, and this will just act as like an irritated skin look because obviously if your skin was ripped open it would look pretty irritated. So I just went around all the scars pretty far out and made it a little pretty dark so that it was noticeable. You don't have to be super precise with this. If it's a little bit darker in some places than others, that's totally fine because that's the way your skin would look. And then next, taking my Mehron Bruise wheel, I'm going to take the Aged Blood shade and just a regular old paintbrush, and I'm going to apply this inside of the wounds. It's okay if a little bit gets on the skin. Well, there would be blood, obviously, on your skin if it was ripped open, but try and keep it, for the most part, inside. I just did this on all 3 scars. Making sure to take it in the very top and bottom cracks because that'll also make it look much more realistic. And then I went over with a second coat just to darken it. So next, taking the Fresh Blood shade out of the Bruise wheel, and I'm going to apply this to the raised skin or glue that we have, because again, the blood would be splattered, it wouldn't all just be inside the cuts. So next, taking my Nye Scab Blood, so this is really thick and doesn't really move where you put it. So I'm going to apply this inside the cuts. I just used a palette knife again. And like I said, it's okay if it gets on the edge of the skin, but we're trying to keep it mostly inside of the wounds. So then next, taking my Nye Stage Blood and a stippling sponge. Just going to take a little bit of that blood and stipple it on the skin surrounding the cuts. Because as I've said 300 times in this video, the blood would be splattered and kind of leaking out of the wounds. Wouldn't just simply be inside. And then I'm going to take the back of a paintbrush and drip some of the liquidy blood in the cuts and allow it to drip down. This just kind of created some more fluidity and movement within the wounds. And then lastly, we're going to take a red lip liner and line our lips. And then taking my Sephora cream lip stain in the shade 01, Always Red, I'm going to apply this to my lips. And then that is it for this look. All you need is a little red hood, or a red hood. I'm already little, so I just need a red hood. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. I thought we would do a little bit more gore while still being pretty glam, of course. So if you guys like this look, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of my 31 days of Halloween. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye everyone!